call support button to speak with a writer support agent.
All right, the screen says I'm going to arrive in 9 minutes. When I summoned this car, and I want to say it took about 4 or 5 minutes to get here, I had about 10 minutes. As you see, no driver. It's driving itself. It's jerking a little bit. Oh, there we go. We're going down 44th Street. I forget exactly where it was coming from, but not far. And I didn't really watch it do its drive here because I shot that little video about where did the trashy woman and her dirty kids go. But who plan your day better? Yeah, I planned my day on when the bus would be there, and that bus that was supposed to be there at that time absolutely did not show up. But 2 not-in-service buses drove by. But yeah, woman doesn't seem to comprehend that. Well, this is an interesting route choice. Oh, by the way, I'm headed to the what the heck do you call it? I'm headed to the park and ride there at 38th Street in Washington, which is where I caught my last Waymo. Wow, it is really taking an odd choice of routes. Took Palm Lane to 46th Street. It's going by the mysterious don't parking zone that's in front of one house. And this is where I had my endless loop the other day when I couldn't figure out how to get into the Wander Inn. Okay, apparently the Waymo car was nervous about that guy backing out of his gravel yard. I don't know if nervous is the right word to use. Can AI be nervous? I guess a better word would be cautious. Speaking of which, I was chatting with the AI on Snapchat a couple days ago, and I told it that there was just simply no replacement for blacktail, and it kept badgering me about what I meant by blacktail. And when I finally explained what blacktail was, it said that subject made it uncomfortable, and then asked, completely changed the subject, which to me was just absolutely hysterical. Interestingly enough, it changed the subject to something that, I fell for it. What it changed the subject for was something that I found interesting. So I continued chatting along those lines. We ended up chatting about self-driving cars, of all things. But oh, is it going to go left here? Oh, good. I think it is. No, maybe not. Oh, it is. Boy, it certainly tries to navigate between those lines as opposed to getting in the left turn lane earlier when traffic has it backed up past the white line, like most normal human drivers would do. So unfortunately, we didn't get to this intersection quick enough to get a green left arrow. So since these Waymo self-driving cars tend to drive with an abundance of caution, I think, well, now maybe we will get through the intersection. Now that's its screen where you can see what it can see, and it sees an oncoming car, and it sees the other oncoming car. Well, it saw a gap big enough to go, and it went. Still haven't figured out what the heck's going on in that large construction site, but it sure is becoming a big development. So, yeah, I expect we'll probably be there pretty quick. I'm expecting it's probably going to go down from here, probably go down 40th Street to Van Buren, go down Van Buren to the gateway parking lot that really should be called 38th Street because it exists at the 3800 East block, and probably go down that into the park and ride parking lot. Now, something I'm noticing inside the Waymo app, and I should maybe post a screenshot on my community page so y'all can see what I'm talking about, since I have no way to add those into my videos right now with the iPhone dead. sometimes when you're zooming in on areas, you'll see a bunch of smears of green along certain roads and along certain routes, like through parking lots and whatnot. And I think what that indicates is locations where the Waymo driver has experience driving and navigating. Because obviously this is an AI-based self-driving system. I love this. We're going, getting it on there. The speedometer says 40 miles per hour. And I'm pretty sure the speed limit here is 40. So it locks in right at the speed limit. Yeah, speed limit 40. Which is interesting. Like when I see other videos on YouTube on channels that get a lot more, traffic than I do and get a lot more comments on their videos than I do. A comment that I often see is, what does the car do if it gets pulled over? And the answer is it doesn't. It doesn't. From what I've seen, it just simply doesn't do anything to get pulled over. It doesn't speed. It locks. The speed limit is 40 miles per hour. It knows the street has a 40 mile per hour speed limit, and it locks right in at 40. Now, interestingly enough, it doesn't, I guess the route wrong because it doesn't have the right blinker on right now, and the screen indicates that it's going to be going straight. I can't wait until I get two phones again functional so I can do this thing again, because there you can see there's a red light. It sees there's a red light. It shows on the screen. Because I'd be able to see a whole lot more if I could, while I'm shooting video, also look at the Waymo app on a different phone. But I know this time around, I'm aware of the pull over button. So if it looks like it's going to get stuck in another endless loop, driving around the block because I can't figure out where to stop.
There. Don't forget your belongings.
Speaking of my belongings, both straps broke on the Amazon backpack. Yeah, I hate to say it, I'm going to have to get myself another bag to go to work. All right, so it's turning into the driveway that I feel should be called 38th Street. And it looks like it's probably going to drop me off right where it picked me up last time. I'm thinking. Is it? I don't know. No, it's turning left. It shows that it's going to go and park here in the parking lot. And I think I actually pointed into this parking lot as my drop-off location. So, finding a spot to pull over. I think we made it to a destination.
You're here. Please make sure it's clear before exiting.
Oh, I didn't have to do the double pull on the... Thank you, robot. Didn't have to do the double pull on the door like it made me do last time. And I don't think the voice told me to do that either. So, that's interesting. TCP 318152A. I guess that's the cab number? Car number? It's in really small print compared to how most taxi cabs put their car number. Speaking of taxi cabs, I've been really itching to be a cab driver again. And obviously the next thing I need to do to figure out if I can do that is get a copy of my 5-year MVR and just see how many blemishes it has on it at this point in time. But I think the last... I don't know how many blemishes it has on it. I just don't know. Oh shit, there is my train. Oh shit. I'm not running in front of it. Yeah, I see you, driver. I'm not running in front of you, but I am jaywalking. I am not missing this train. I still think it was a really idiot decision to put all these train stations in the median of a giant strode. Oh God, I hope I can get to it on time. I hope the driver's actually watching me. Whew, made it. That was close. Well, that connection was pretty quick, and I think it's pretty safe to say that I would not have made that connection had I taken the bus, even though the bus was coming within 5 minutes. So 5:23 p.m. Yeah, I don't know that I'm going to have time to stop at Taco Bell, but I should have plenty of time to catch the next to last rapid bus, which is the one I want to ride. And it's the one that gets me to work the right level of comfortably early rather than a little bit late. Oh, so anything else I should be sharing since I'm actually still running video on the train? I don't do that very often, mostly because it makes people on the train uncomfortable when I'm shooting video of it. But I think it's pretty clear that I'm... Ooh, wow, 2 not-in-service buses on that street there, just parked. Curious about that, what not-in-service buses camp out near Washington and 32nd Street. I really think just simply making use of the not-in-service buses where they deadhead could make dramatic improvements to the transit system here in Phoenix. I really do. But boy, that dirty woman's with the little dirty kids, her take on it certainly didn't fill me with much positivity. I mean, that she viewed a Route 44 that only runs from Camelback to Van Buren as being a problem. I mean, keep in mind, the 44 only runs down to the SkyTrain anyway, so it misses the last tiny bit. And who's to say they couldn't route that so it goes through the SkyTrain and then out Monroe Street to 40th Street, and then up 40th Street to Van Buren, and then down Van Buren. I mean, that to me is a more sensible route anyway than just going down 44th and turning at Van Buren. But yeah, it's funny that she viewed that as like, oh, well, that wouldn't work because the route goes farther north than that. I wonder if she's just not familiar with the fact of how the Route 17, which she was clearly familiar with, because I called it the Route 16, and she corrected me that McDowell was 17. I called it the 16 because, generally speaking, route numbers are based upon the 100 block of the grid position of the road that they're on. And McDowell Road is 1600 north. All right, looks like we got a bunch of homeless people squatting there in the shade behind the Chevron car wash. Former Chevron car wash, it's all boarded up. There's a Lime scooter over there. So, crap, I lost my train of thought. Oh man, I was going somewhere with this too, and now I don't remember what I was saying. Yeah, my short-term memory disability is a pretty legit thing. I sometimes need things in front of me to remind me. And like if I'm talking, I sometimes need notes telling me what I'm talking about. So doing this the way I do it, it does pose a challenge for me. Like I think the reason I do so well with my job as a loader at Amazon is because I'm constantly making decisions based on the way everything looks around me. But I've certainly learned that there are certain time processes that if I'm in the middle of them, even if it's time to go to break, I don't stop. And I've had management question me about it before, and I told them that, like, hey, if I stop right now, I will not remember where I left off. And this is ultimately saving a lot of time. I'll be done with X process in X seconds or X minutes, and they generally roll with it. And I just, cope with a pattern of how I do my job and how I leave things. That way when I walk back, and even though I can't really consciously remember what I was doing when I stopped, I can look at the situation of how I have everything laid out, and I know where to resume because I'm very consistent in how I leave things. Now that's a real Jeep. Nice. Oh. Saying something about the train. I don't remember. It's a neat business there. Place of Clay. It's like they sell fountains and stuff. And giant stone pillars, which are probably I was thinking I was getting ready to pass VIP taxi, but we've already passed this. Oh, there's 18th Street. See those projects to the north here? Those are the ones that I mentioned a few weeks ago that are fenced off and look to be currently being renovated, just like the ones in Dupavia. What used to be Dupavia East. Not to be confused with Dupavia West, which has already been replaced by some new luxury apartment complex that includes some. Sorry about that. Still had an alarm set. I think that's my... Oh, I didn't see what time it was. But what time is it anyway? 5:30. It is my 5:30 alarm. Hey, this is something worth talking about. And I don't know if I've mentioned any of my vlogs yet. I don't recall having... Ooh, there's a bus broken down being picked up by a tow truck. That's another one of the issues with public transit here. It's so hot that vehicles do sometimes overheat, and that's really inconvenient if you're on one of them. Because 30 minutes till the next one. And it's amazing how passengers think that that's acceptable. Like that dirty woman with her dirty kids. Like she seemed to think that, oh no, it's every 30 minutes and that's enough. No, it's not. And apparently she's oblivious to the fact that like the one that was supposed to show up in the previous 30 minutes never showed up. As I was tracking it in the app, it never showed up. So that meant that there was roughly an hour. 12th Street.
Huh?
12th Street.
12th Street. What?
Washington. Light rail. Where are you trying to go?
Down 12th Street.
Oh, McDowell and Central?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, just stay on it.
You already passed it, man.
No, you haven't passed it. You're going to McDowell and 12th Street?
Oh, yeah.
Going to McDowell.
No,
Hey, McDowell and Central, stay on it. Yeah, I don't know why the voice isn't... There's usually a voice that tells us where we're
Yeah.
going. I don't know why there's not. Usually there's a voice that tells us what stops are, but it'll be on the other side of downtown.
Yeah. I fell asleep, man.
It's all chill. I usually fall asleep when I'm riding this home from work. I'm tired. Where was your stop? Oh yeah, that's where I got on, bro. I've been on this train a while. Yeah, you're gonna have to get off at the next one and head back. And the shitty thing is at the next one you gotta walk a couple blocks to get to the other station.
Wait for the light rail?
No. Every station from here until the one where you're getting off at McDowell. Actually, no, I take that back. There is a single station at Roosevelt. But every station between here and the one at Roosevelt, the rails that go each direction are separated. Actually, come to think of it, they're separated at 12th. You would have still had to walk a block south. I think 38th is the furthest one on the east that's not separated.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I wish they'd have put the trains on the same street. I figured that the city missed a golden opportunity to put all the trains on Jefferson and put two-way traffic on Washington and get rid of these stupid one-way streets. That would have been nicer, having all the car traffic on Washington and all the train traffic on a single track on Jefferson. Don't you think? That's the Science Center. So I rode with the Brazilian woman from work home again today. Well, not home. She drops me off at 20th Street, which is where the 51 freeway is.
Approaching station. 3rd Street in Washington. Ballpark, Arena, and Convention Center.
I really
Exit to right.
I really want to get off here and go to Taco Bell, but I don't feel like I have enough time. Because it's 33 after right now, and while I don't remember exactly what time the next to last I-10 West Rapid bus picks up, well, I don't remember what time that is. And I just feel like in the time it would take to walk from here to Taco Bell and get food and then walk to the bus stop, I feel like that wouldn't be enough time. And I'd be stuck waiting for the last one, which I think leaves at like 6:20-ish. I should really memorize those times. I do have the capacity to memorize stuff like that. It's just very challenging for me. And I have to say it a lot and look at it a lot. It takes an extreme amount of repetition for me to memorize things like that. Once I memorize things like that, I tend to have them unlocked, like how I was explaining to these guys where the train stations are. I mean, I've memorized the location, I believe, of every station on the Metro Light Rail and probably could recite them from memory. Like the next one is going to be at the... it's going to be right in front of where Baja Fresh used to be. I forget what that building's called, but it'll be between Van Buren and the next street to the north on Central. And then the next stop after that is Central Station, which is being redeveloped into a mixed-use business development because the city of Phoenix likes selling its public facilities to private interests to collect money.
Approaching station, Washington and Central Avenue, downtown Phoenix.
And
Exit to left.
you know some politicians got their pockets lined for that shit. I wonder if First Watch is still there. No, it looks like it's something else now. That corner used to be a restaurant called First Watch, which had really good breakfast food, but I think closed before lunch. It had very limited hours. It was just a breakfast spot. I used to go there for breakfast sometimes when I was dating / traveling / living with a woman named Connie. Definitely the longest relationship I've ever had with an older woman, and I miss her sometimes. But I found some of her personal media when I was thinking about her a few months back, and it didn't seem like a good idea to try to connect with her right now. I mean, it was kind of a struggle being with her when I was with her, just because I really didn't find her physically attractive. But she did have a great smile and a great personality, and that goes a long way with me. And the sex wasn't bad. So, I'm all gathering my stuff like I'm getting off here. This is that next stop I was talking about. I forget what that building is called right there. Rocket Mortgage Parking. That's where my one friend works. I know lately it seems like him and I haven't been connecting because when he's got time to hang out with me, I'm always somewhere else doing something else. And when I got time to hang out with him, he either doesn't answer me or is busy. So he doesn't drive either. So I mean, he doesn't drive. Period. I don't think he even knows how to drive. But boy, I feel for that person coming in that parking lot. I can just tell looking at the sun on their car that they had the sun glaring right in their windshield. Oh, so I was reciting the stations going north on this train, which is the westbound train, but it's actually going north from this point onward to Camelback. So yeah, the next stop after Park Central is, not Park Central, but Central Station. The next one after that is Roosevelt, then McDowell, then Encanto, then Thomas, then Osborne, then Indian School, then I can't remember if there's a stop at Campbell or not. I know the next one is a little transit center, which is near but not at Camelback in Central. That's one of the few places where the train. That's one of the few places where the train gets off of surface streets. And I wish the whole system was off of surface streets like that. It's a lot better when it is. Construction going on over there where they're building that mixed-use development. Can I see anything if I peek in? Oh yeah, there's a big old hole in the ground. Looks like we're gonna have two subterranean levels in this development. I don't know. I just hope when it's all said and done that there are some decent public amenities there, and it's not just offices and residences for the wealthy. There's a Route 3 heading eastbound. Wow, the bus nearly blocked the view of the walk signal. Nice to see some bikes on the buses. Those bike racks, I feel like those were added in the 90s.
Wait.
Not a lot of people use them. I used to use them, but it's been probably over 25 years since I have. There's my bus stop. I don't see anybody waiting. Let's see what the time is now. It's 5:40. Yeah, I don't feel like waiting. There's no traffic coming. I'm going to walk. So this lane reduction here of 1 lane each direction on Van Buren, yesterday as I was waiting for the bus made quite the bottleneck. Because as you can see, the right turn lane is blocked. And there was basically 2 lanes of traffic trying to turn right there. They were backed up, and cars going straight were trying to get into the left turn lane to get around the stuck traffic to go further north. And okay, so the buses that I want, I'm on the I-10 West, so they're at 526, 554, and 520 or 624. So I was right, and like I think I was saying it was around 620, so it's 624. I remembered that pretty close. Shit, I already forgot the one that I'm riding on, what time it goes at. It's 554. So 6 to 6. I'm more likely to remember 6 to 6 because it has a better ring to it than 554. Oh, kind of surprised that I'm sitting here by myself. So 554, it's 541, so 13 minutes I got to wait. Yay, we get to chill together in front of the security center for 13 minutes. How fun is that? There's massive glare on that window. So I was looking at the architecture on this building the other day, and I was wondering the history of it, because I love this style of architecture, and there's not a lot of like old buildings with this kind of ornamental brickwork in it in Phoenix. And couldn't help but notice that like this looks like it should be the center of the building with a main entrance there, a very ornate main entrance. And we've got like a balcony on the 3rd floor. I believe that's the 3rd floor, which is pretty impressive looking, but it doesn't look like it's actually accessible. It looks like it's just there for looks. And then going on up, there's another balcony, and there's this thing there that looks like it should be centered. Like I can imagine how you've got that wing to the right. Let me zoom back in. You've got that being the center of the building and that section to the right, and how if it wasn't for this building that says Security Center, and mind you, the center has writing on it that says Security Building. And it occurred to me that if that really ugly late 60s, early 70s type architecture wasn't there, I think that's considered brutalist. I don't know. It's fucking ugly, whatever it is. And it looks like it's vacant as well. Then again, I can see some stuff. No, I can see some stuff through the windows. I don't know. It gives abandoned building vibes, regardless. Yeah, it seems like the space that takes up is exactly the size of what another building side that looks like that would occupy. And I can kind of imagine what it would look like if there were a mirror image of the structure to the right on the left, and it looks like it would be exactly the right distance to extend to the Hotel San Carlos, which is also historic and pretty neat. And I stayed there for a few days. When my baby mama got, she basically got a paycheck that was tens of thousands of dollars more than what her paycheck was supposed to be as a food service worker for the vendor at the Phoenix Zoo. Sorry, I got to set my phone down because my left shoe was coming untied this time. So current count right now, that's not going to work. Current count right now, I've retied my right shoe twice, and I'm retying my left shoe once right now. So I don't know why that's such a constant struggle for me, but it really, really is. But unfortunately, I have to wear safety shoes to Amazon. I don't have the option of wearing flip-flops that don't come untied. And I don't think they offer any kind of safety shoes that aren't tied with laces. Because, at Amazon, I wouldn't give a fuck if I had the option of wearing Velcros. I wouldn't care how tacky people think they are because I'm at Amazon. Anyway, yeah, I'm just super curious. I would imagine that, like, at one point in time, the owner of this building, the security center or security building, decided they needed higher capacity and a more modern building and whacked off, boy, that was poor word choice, whacked off the other side of the building, which was gorgeous like that, and replaced it with that ugly monstrosity, which at the time looked sleek and modern, but now pretty much looks like shit. Anyway, that's my theory. Another thing I think kind of backs up my theory about that, glare from the sun. Okay, now I can see a little better, is if you look the ornamental brickwork, there you can see it. It wraps into the newer building, as opposed to, you can see it really clear, like up there, as opposed to, like, I grab my stuff, so I don't want to leave it here at the bus stop or somebody will steal it. That's just the way people are. Oh, and something that happened on the train while I was talking with that guy about where his stop was, and I didn't want to put the camera on them because it is kind of rude. I mean, I'd see why some people get upset about it, but usually when I make a spectacle of somebody who's getting upset about it, it's because I wasn't filming them per se. Were they in the background? Did I get them captured in my shooting a video? Yeah, of course I did, but I wasn't shooting video of them other than in passing of whatever I was doing in creating this vlog, and then they made themselves the center of attention. Whereas had they not made themselves the center of attention, I would have just kept moving on. Whereas generally speaking, if I'm engaging someone in conversation, unless I ask if they're cool with being on my video, I generally try to point the camera in the other direction. So y'all didn't get to see them. They were both very much on the dirty street people looking side. And when the one guy said, "Oh shit, I missed my stop," and he got up, and then later he came back, when he stood up, there was a $5 bill that apparently fell out of his lap or his pocket or something on the seat where he was sitting. And then the other guy, as I was talking to him, looked over, saw it, snagged it. And at which point, and I do, as somebody who's on the autism spectrum, struggle with some nonverbal communication, but sometimes I get it. And I think we had kind of a nonverbal exchange as we were having our conversation about, yeah, I see that, dude, go for it. At least that's the message I was trying to convey with my facial expressions, and he seemed to have got that. And, is it a nice thing to do? No, the nice thing to do would have been to say, "Hey, dude, you dropped your $5 bill." But I understand the point of desperation that guy's probably coming from. And I didn't expect the guy to walk back. That's not a rental scooter. That's pretty neat. Broken Hub Realty. Yeah, that's not a scooter brand. That's a sticker. Verde Park Condominiums, Broken Hub Realty. Verde Park Condominiums. Yeah, it's a 9-bot. It's interesting that it's got so many stickers. See, Verde Park Condominiums, it almost makes me wonder if maybe that's an amenity for Verde Park Condominiums. And which one of these residential towers is 30 Park condominiums. Okay, here's the I-10 East. That always shows up before the I-10 West does. And I've been wanting to capture on video how it mispronounces its destination. So it's going to 40th Street in Pecos, but let me get by where it stops and listen to how this bus's speech synthesis mispronounces Pecos. It's pretty funny. At least I think it's funny. I got a killer truck. Yeah, you're not my bus, dude.
I-10, East Rapid to 40th Street in Pecos.
Sounded like it said Pecost. Let's read Pecost. Oh, hey, that's the first time I've seen one of those cans in the wild. Ghost. Raspberry. I load many pallets of that stuff and move around many pallets of that stuff at Amazon. In fact, for a while there was a running joke that I was trying to perpetuate there, where one of the managers was talking about, like they were doing the counts, and they've got a count in the system of how many pallets we have that says where they are, but they're still asking us to do physical counts of the pallets. And John had relayed that to me and said he said that, oh damn, I forget that manager's name. I always forget his name. I can see him in my mind, but I always forget his name. Anyway, the one manager who was my manager but isn't my manager anymore, but I still go to most of the time, John had said that he said that yeah, that number was not accurate because they were ghost pallets, which I think was indicating, pallets that are in the system that aren't physically there because they've been moved somewhere else and they don't really know how to delete them out of the system. Or it's, too much work to delete them out of the system. They haven't been deleted yet, whatever. But anyways, referring it to ghost pallets. And anyway, it said that to me, and it wasn't too much later. I was moving a pallet of those ghost energy drinks. I was like, John, he goes, what? It's like, dude, I found the ghost pallet. And I pointed at it. He walked over and looked at what it was. And just, I don't know. He seemed pretty amused by that. It was a moment. It's like, I found the ghost pallet. Anyway, I'm easily amused by puns like that. Hotel San Carlos. So yeah, the baby mama, when she got all that extra money, instead of returning it, which you are legally obligated to do in the state of Arizona, she cashed that check and never went back to work. And she ended up getting arrested and catching a felony theft for it. But when she got that money, and that's what blew my mind, is rather than trying to invest it and spend it on things that she desperately needed to improve her life, but then making a point to have the money available should she get called out on it to be able to just simply return the money, and possibly liquidate those assets in a hurry and return the money, because I don't think they could have really pressed charges on her if she just acted stupid at that point. It was like, oh, my bad, I thought that was my bonus, and just gave the money back, I don't think they could have continued to press charges on her. But anyway, she spent it on a lot of really stupid and frivolous stuff. One of those things was about a 2-week stay in like a really nice suite here at the Hotel San Carlos. I have no idea how much that cost. She also bought me some really nice clothes. I thought it was a stupid thing for her to spend her money on, but I was appreciative of the clothes. But anyway, yeah, we stayed here at the Hotel San Carlos, and that was really, really nice. There's actually a swimming pool up on one of the top layers up there. We walked to it, but we ended up not going swimming. Oh, I remember why I'm standing over here, because I wanted to show how, so that building, you can tell it's connected. Like the decorative brick kind of goes around the corner and intersects with the brickwork on the adjacent building, rather than there being a property line which is not crossed and a space between the buildings. And there actually is a space between this building and the Hotel San Carlos. And if I line up on it just right, you can see it. Yeah, see, there's a space there. You can look through it. It's really narrow. You can't pass through it. I mean, you could, I think, if you were like a hummingbird or a moth. But yeah, there's definitely a space between those buildings. I can't see what bus that is. I don't think my bus turns from that street, though. Actually, I think that is my bus. On that note, I think my bus is going to be here shortly, so I'm going to wrap this up. Thanks for coming with me on the multimodal journey, and yeah, got to get my $2.25 copay or fare and my bus pass ready. I got to pay the additional fare beyond what my bus pass covers. Oh no, that's our Route 0. That's not my bus. Route 0 turns off. That's interesting that the Route 0 is turning off of Monroe. Because the last time I rode the Route 0, and that says 0 north. Last time I rode the Route 0, it came down First Avenue, and then it turned left at Van Buren, and then from Van Buren it turned left, and then it made its last stop about a block north of here. Although that was the 0 south, and this is the 0 north, so I'm not sure. I just kind of assumed that the 0 south became the 0 north. There's another train. So theoretically, I could have gone to Taco Bell and then went back to the train station and caught the next train to here. But I think that would have been really rolling the dice. In fact, I still think it's dicey. There's a good chance that my bus, the I-10 West Rapid, will show up and be here to pick me up before that train gets from the station that it's at there by the old Baja Fresh location and to that stop there, which, by the way, those are the two closest light rail stations, which seems really weird to have, on any kind of light rail or metro system to have two stops that close to each other. It almost defeats the purpose of having a rail system. But yeah, I've often said, yep, nope, it wouldn't have worked. There's my bus. That is definitely the I-10 West Rapid around in the corner. I recognize that bus. Although it's not an articulated bus today. It's just a single bus. Anyway, I'm wrapping this up. Thanks for coming with on the walk, and I'll probably shoot video on the journey. I think I'm done for the day. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.